Hey guys, so we're going to talk today about some chords, building chords, and what kind of chords there are. This is a little bit more on the advanced, definitely intermediate side of music theory. So if you don't understand this, that's fine. Definitely can't hurt to watch and see if you pick up anything or ask me if we have questions. But this is just a little bit further on than like talking about scale degrees and stuff like that, like we were on some of our last videos. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about major and minor augmented and diminished chords. To start though, before we can do that, we have to talk about what is a major third, what is a minor third. In one of our previous videos, we talked about what a third is. For instance, the distance between C and E, C, D, E, that makes it a third, C, D, E. However, we have two types of thirds. We have a third that would be like C to E, or C to E flat is also a third, different kinds of thirds. So C to E is a major third. Now when we use major, we use capital letters, major third. Half steps, we talked about half steps being right next to each other, also in another video. Those are also called semitones. Half step and a semitone are the same thing. So if you, on a piano, hold down C and press, so if you're holding down C, you press C sharp, D, E sharp, E, that means E is 4 semitones above C. On a violin, it also kind of works the same way, that if you hold down a C and then you do your half steps, which are distance of a finger away, so you would have to go C, D, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. A little bit more advanced on a violin, it's harder to see than on a piano, but it's the same thing. We would have that distance between C and E being a major third, and it's a little bit higher sounding than the minor third. A minor third, like C to E flat, is only 3 semitones apart. So that would be if you're holding down on a piano C, C sharp, D, and then E flat. So it's a little bit closer. That's something we should check that out on a piano. Definitely check it out on a piano. On violin, we can talk about that a little bit more in your lesson. It's a little bit harder to see on a violin. But minor third, we use a lowercase m to say minor third. So major third, minor third. That's a big difference to be able to know. It's a big thing to be able to see that difference. Now, moving on to what is a triad. A triad is what we call most of our chords. The majority of chords are triads. And every chord that we're going to build, and we're going to talk about building, has 3 notes. You have to have 3 notes to have a chord. If you just have 2 notes, you don't have a chord. You have an interval, but not a chord. So that's why the word triad, tri means 3, means 3 notes in your triad. Also, all these triads have 3 notes that are each a third apart. So we have, for a C chord, for example, C, E, G, the difference between C and E is a major third. The difference between E and G is a minor third. So we have a third and a third. That is how we build chords all the time. So you see we have this note, and this note. This distance is a third. This distance is a third. Always when we're building chords. So we're going to talk about the different kinds of chords we can build because we can use any combinations of the majors and the minors. The typical chord that you're going to see, a major chord, which is a happy sounding chord, that's your C, E, G, very common chord, is going to be a major third plus a minor third. Now, when we say major, we use capital letters. That's how we know. So if I'm talking about a G chord, a G major chord, I'm going to say G, capital letters like that. Now, minor chord is a minor third plus a major third. So here we have our big third and a little third. And then for our minor chord, we have a little third and a big third. So that is represented by a lowercase letter. We would say G. I'd look at that and say, that's G minor. Now, to see this on a piano, it's very helpful to be able to look at it on a piano. And even if you're not a piano student, I would recommend seeing on a piano counting out how many half steps there are in a major third, counting out how many half steps there are in a minor third, and then putting those together. It's definitely really helpful to be able to see that laid out because a piano has all your music theory just right open in front of you. So that can definitely answer a lot of questions that we might have with this. So a major third and a minor third are just flipped in the sense that here we have the major's on the bottom, the minor's on the top. Now here we have the minor on the bottom and the major on the top. So the next thing we do is we're going to learn about an augmented chord. Augmented chords are not that common. We do see them, but they're not quite so common. And that is a major third on the bottom and a major third on the top. So that would give you, in a C chord instance, C to E to G sharp, because E to G sharp is a major third. So the way that we would write that out if I was ever writing a chord, I would do a capital letter and a plus sign. That's the augmented sign. Now for diminished chords, the last chord that is on this list here, we have a minor third on the bottom, a minor third on top. So in the C chord demonstration, that would be a C to an E flat to a G flat. And it's not an F sharp because that wouldn't be a third. E to F is just a second. So we have to think about, it's got to be a C, E, G if it's a chord, but C to E flat, G to G flat is going to give us our minor third plus a minor third. And the way that we would write that would be with a little it's like a degree sign after it. And that's how we would get all of our different types of chords. Now, just to clarify when I'm saying this, when I say a major third plus a minor third, that's stacking it like this. Here is your major third. Here is your minor third. This is what's on the bottom. This is what's on the top. So when you have a minor third plus a major third, your minor third is going to be on the bottom, and then your major third is going to be on the top. Now, I had a teacher give us a demonstration once with Oreos, and unfortunately, I don't have any Oreos right now, but I can tell you about it. An Oreo is like when you have a double stuffed Oreo. That is our major third. It's as full of a third as you can get. So we have a double stuffed Oreo for our major third, and then a regular size Oreo for our minor third. So if you stack, you put your double stuff here, and then your small one on top, that's a major chord, because you have a major plus a minor. Now, if you reverse it and you put the minor third, the little Oreo, and then the double stuffed on top, that's a minor chord, where you're going to have, or a minor triad, I should say, where you have the smaller gap on the bottom, the bigger gap on top. Now, I would need 2 double stuffed Oreos to do this one, because I'd have to do a major third and a major third, 2 double stuffed Oreos on top of each other. And here we have a minor third and a minor third, which would be 2 small Oreos on top of each other. But we always have an Oreo's width between them, because we always have thirds. Since we have triads, we always have thirds making up our chords. So this is kind of talking a little bit about thirds, talking a little bit about chords. One thing that is interesting is that here, if we take a look at this chord, yes, this right here would be a third, and this distance right here would also be a third. But 3 and 3 does not make 6 in music. 3 and 3 makes 5. And I know that sounds really weird, but the distance between this note and this note is a fifth. Think about this. If this is middle C, that would be C, D, E, F, G. C, D, E, F, G makes a fifth. We only get a third plus a third because we're counting the middle note twice, which is important because we have to know what kind of middle note it is. So to save time when you're making chords, I would recommend starting with your bottom note, putting in your fifth, and then seeing what kind of chord is it. After that, after I know that, well, I can draw 3 circles right away because I know it's going to be 3 notes, and then say, okay, do I have, what do you know? Maybe I have a minor third. Maybe I have a minor chord. So we'll call this D, D to F. Let's see, is D to F a major third or a minor third? D, E flat, E, F, that's only 3 semitones. That means that this distance is a minor third. Now I need F, we're going to call this A. In a minor triad, we have to have a minor third plus a major third. So F to A should be a major third. Let's see. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. What do you know? That is 4 semitones. So this is a major third, and we now have this chord because we have a minor third plus a major third. So hopefully that is a good intro into this. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but I think you guys, if you take a look at this, we'll work more on that. We'll draw some actual staff paper. We'll do a lot of staff work on this soon. But here's just an intro into the different types of chords, the different types of triads we might have. So hopefully you learned something, and we'll have another lecture coming soon.